Welcome back, traders. In this part 2, it's the setup and entry checklist. So the objective here is to provide a non-negotiable step-by-step checklist for identifying a valid quad rotation setup and executing an entry. Part 1, we covered the core concept of the 4 pilots. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend you go watch that first. It is in this, it's the first video in this playlist. In this video, though, we're going to get to the heart of the strategy, the exact non-negotiable checklist to find these A-plus setups. And by the end, you should have a clear rules-based system for trade entry. Before we get to the checklist, though, a couple of tools I want to make sure you have on your screen. Now, I do have my own indicator here. However, I'm backing off of a lot of that right now just because I want you to see that this is all possible to set up yourself. If you're interested in my indicator, great, hit me up. But my purpose is not to sell anything. It's simply to show you guys how to set up your charts and do this on your own. If my indicator helps, I do sell it, but I'm not here to sit here and promote that, really. My goal is just total transparency in my strategy. So I'll show you what this looks like because I'm just using an indicator that's not doing too much here. I've turned a lot of this stuff off, so we're really just looking at some confirmations on EMAs and stochastics, which I have visually, and then my EMA line here along with the blue VWAP line. And then I find the divergence, okay, with this indicator. That's all I've got turned on right now. So you could really do this with any indicator. You just need a 9 EMA here. You could find a divergence indicator. There are plenty out there. Then I have a volume indicator. Now this one's a little bit more difficult, I believe, because you have to pay for CME data. So if you don't have CME data in TradingView, you won't be able to get to a lot of this data. But this was actually an indicator that I purchased from a third party. If you're interested, it works great for me. Stochastics, we're going to get quickly into here, and I'm going to zip through these because really we need to get to actual trading here and show you what this looks like. So we've got a 9.3 stochastic. We've got our 14.3. This one we've got our 40 and 4, and this one is our 60 and 10, okay? Set up your chart like this, and really all I've done is painted the lines between 20 and 80 on each of these stochastics. So we've got a 1-minute chart up here. This is my typical scalping 1-minute time frame, but before we go to that, we need to do our pre-flight check, if you will. This is pilots 3 and 4 that I referenced in the first video. We've got to zoom out, right? What are our levels? Where are we at? Let's go to the 1-hour time frame. So looks like right here we are at a somewhat significant level. You can see how many times we've touched on this level, rejected here. Looks like we had a bounce here, another bounce there, rejection there, push up through here. So it's a significant level that's been played with multiple times. That's good. This is starting into the New York Open on September 2nd, 2025. Now I'm going to zoom into the 1-minute time frame. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to check my 5-minute. Good. So we've actually hit this level already. We pushed up into the 9 EMA. We pushed back down. It's a significant level. We could see a bounce here. This is the opening, though, and I typically don't trade for the first 15 minutes, so I'm just going to go ahead and let this play a little bit through. Then we'll look for our setup. So your first check number 1, as I'm letting this play the first 15 minutes of the open. I'll slow it down here just a little bit. Check number 1. High time frame context, okay? You need to be making sure you're looking at the 1 hour. I'm going to pause this here before we get too far. You need to make sure that you're zooming out. Find your major support and resistance levels on the 1 hour chart. Make sure they match on the 5, 15 even. I tend to go through a lot of those. For a short setup here, this is checklist item number 2. Momentum exhaustion is what you're looking for, right? At least on the 5-minute time frame, you want to look at the stochastic oscillator is in the extreme zone. This is my 5-minute stochastic down here. That's the 60-10 we did earlier, right? For a short setup, we need that stochastic to be right around the 80 or overbought zone. And for a long, we're looking to take a bounce off of the 20. Can be slightly within the range, but it should be, if it is slightly within the range on the 5, these ones are all in oversold territory, okay? So let's see if we get any coming up here. You can see that at the open, yes, we were in this oversold territory here, here, and here. We were nearing here, but you don't take a trade right at the open, right? This is 935. There's no telling what it's going to do yet. So we're going to let this play out because we're not quite in our zone. We are getting to a place where we could look for a short coming into overbought territory, but that's not what I'm looking for off of this level. I want to bounce. So we're going to let this play a little. Okay, let's back this up just a second. You can see that it found a divergence. My VWAP is up here. We're now at, what are we at, 10.05. But it's already started to trail back down here, coming into normal territory. So I'm going to let this play out. By the way, my next checklist item is I need to have an off ramp. I've talked about this in my other videos. I need at least a 1, 2, 3 downward trend on my volume to indicate along with matching the overbought territory and rolling over. Okay. Similarly, if we were looking for an upward momentum, that's going to be a 1, 2, 3 up. I call it my on ramp, off ramp. Okay, so we're getting into some territory here. My last entry checklist is actually to break this 9 EMA, which that did, but you can see it didn't break it while this was in overbought territory down here on my 9 stochastic. In fact, it's almost in oversold territory. So we're going to keep watching here. What we're looking for is a little bit more market structure shift, and I'm just not seeing much of it yet. Okay, now we're bouncing back above that EMA, but you can see I'm not into oversold territory here, or overbought territory. So I'd be watching for either another bounce up to here, which it looks like it's going to do now, or you could be looking for it to come back down here and play that major bounce off of the bottom. That's the better trade. Let's see if we can get these back into our overbought territory. They didn't quite touch, did they? Okay, we'll keep moving through here. Okay, now we're getting into, see my overbought territory here. I'm getting close here. Not quite here. And I'm near the top of the range on that 5-minute. That's not terrible. Okay, now we're getting into overbought. And I need that third stochastic to get there. Oop, I'm going to stop it right there because I have a divergence happened right here. I missed it, but my indicator caught it. So we have this bearish divergence. We are right within a couple of bars of that bearish divergence happening. We have our rollover here that looks like it's now coming from overbought territory down, and I've got a hook on at least 3. We're right at 78 on that 5-minute stochastic. I'm going to zoom this guy in a little bit. And I have my off ramp here, right? where I'm actually trailing more volume in a downward trend, and it just broke the 9 EMA. I have now met all of the requirements. My last requirement isn't looking like it's coming into play very much right now, but it needs to be minding that VWAP, right? If I'm looking for a short, it should be on the underside of this VWAP. If I'm looking for a long, it should be on the upside of the VWAP. So I'm going to go ahead and throw on 10 lots here. We're going to bring our stop loss just above the last highest high. I don't need to take it clear to that highest high. I typically keep my stop losses pretty tight. This isn't really I know it looks like a 1-to-2 ratio that I was going for here. It's not really. It's just down to the bottom of the range. And I don't always hold that bottom of the range, but at least I will see as long as these are still trending down on my volume, and it looks like I'm getting that rollover on stocks 3 and 4, I'm good. I'll stay in. So let's see where we get to on this one. My guess is it wants to play down to this and bounce again, because I told you I'd be looking for that bounce. Now, this is what I love about this strategy. It almost always immediately works. You'll know if it's ticking against you that this was just, you were probably too early, is what it comes down to. Okay. Yeah, so we've only had one bar against us there. The thing that I watch for as well for my exit is if it pulls back up against and above, closes above that 9 EMA. As long as it stays below that 9 EMA, I'm good to stay in. Now, that one would have been interesting because it's really close to above. It wicked up there for a second, so it does look like we're running out of momentum here. And we're at a significant enough level, and I'm seeing now my volume. I apologize, I didn't have that zoomed out enough. Typically, I would have gotten out actually one candlestick back, because now I have an on-ramp. You can see that I've got 3 stochastics are in oversold territory now, and my on-ramp is 1, 2, 3 ramping up towards the other side. I'm going to go ahead and close that trade. And it's as simple as that. So that's just a clear chart to show you what a normal trade looks like. I can go on and find other trades here, but really those are your rules, okay? So we've got number 1, you need to zoom out and look at that high time frame context. Your stochastics need to be at least 3 in overbought or oversold territory. The 4th is an A+ setup. I've even seen a lot of what I would consider A setups with this still in range, okay? You need an off-ramp of coming down in volume, trending the direction you're wanting to go. We have a bearish divergence at the top. We are below the VWAP, and we had a break of this 9 EMA that was our entry. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit better so you guys can see that. I apologize. I have my charts zoomed out a little too much sometimes. So my entry here at the break of that 9 EMA rode it all the way down to there for $775 profit. So hopefully that checklist helps you. This helps you understand the strategy. There will be more to come. Until next time, I'm going to leave you with if you found this checklist valuable, hit the like and subscribe button, but watch for part 3.